Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. From all of us here at Across the Fence, we extend our best wishes for a happy new year. Joining me with those good wishes are Carolyn Peak from Williamstown, along with Deb Plumley and Lynn Jarvis from South Hero. And they're all going to start the new year with some of their favorite recipes, but first we have some other business to take care of. Eileen Wadley, one of our loyal viewers from Danville, Quebec, sent us this two-page spread from the Montreal Gazette. It's entitled Farm to Table Vermont. We could learn a few things from the food scene in the Green Mountain State. The Gazette piece compliments Vermont's efforts to put chefs and kitchens in contact with farmers and the fruits of their labors. On the second page is this lovely color photo taken at the South Hero Farmers Market. If any of you viewers know whose booth this is, please let us know and we'll get a copy of the article to you. We'll have contact information at the end of the program, and in the meantime, our thanks to Eileen Wadley for thinking of us. Now, it's time to announce the winners of our free drawing for the Across the Fence mugs. Our first winner is from Rutland, and she is Marcia Roy. Our other winner is Sharon McMahon from Waterford. Congratulations to both Marcia and Sharon. We thank all of you who entered the drawing, and we'll have more free prizes to offer you throughout the year. Now, Deb, I know you have the honor of showing us the very first recipe of the year.
Well, excellent and great, and it's so nice to be here.
Alrighty.
And it was hard to choose just a few recipes to showcase. My favorite one is my Thai chicken sesame noodles. This can be prepared quickly using just one pan. Boneless chicken cubes are marinated in an oriental sesame seed dressing, which you can easily make the dressing at home by using prepared Italian dressing, adding some soy sauce, sesame seeds, and ginger. The chicken is cooked in your skillet along with some sliced carrots and some sliced celery. Add your cooked noodles, toss it with some more of the sauce, this time flavored with peanut butter and honey, and you've got a great one-dish casserole. And even my pickiest eater at home loves this. Now, anything with bacon is a favorite in my house. This crunchy bacon coleslaw has a tangy flavor, and if you use a pre-shredded coleslaw mix, can be made and served in minutes. I use a homemade slaw dressing made with mayo, red wine vinegar, and cider vinegar, vegetable oil, mustard, sugar, salt, and pepper. Just before serving, add the dressing to your shredded cabbage, add well-cooked crumbled bacon, and chopped peanuts. And I serve it in a lettuce-lined bowl. Now, this is a viewer recipe for Dutch apple cake with maple sauce from Judy Morgan in Berlin, Vermont. And it uses two of my favorite ingredients, which are apples and maple syrup. Thinly sliced apples are softened slightly in the microwave and then tossed with a cinnamon sugar mixture. Your batter is made with Bisquick, melted butter, milk, and sugar. You pat that in your pan, add the sliced apples, and bake at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. And you serve it with a warm maple sauce. And this is made by boiling maple syrup and water, and you're going to feel like you're in a sugar house when you're making this. It's absolutely wonderful. And then you thicken the sauce slightly with cornstarch. The studio's a little cool this morning, so I'm not sure if it's really going to pour out. But if it does become too thick, you can just warm it some more or add a little bit more water. I think this is going to become one of my favorite recipes, so I want to thank Judy very much for sharing this and sending it in to us. My last recipe to share comes from Happy Maxim, who shares her time between Vermont and South Carolina. Now, for years, Happy made this homemade caramel corn that we sold at the orchard. We've had more requests from this recipe for probably anything except for perhaps our apple pie and apple crisp. You make the caramel syrup by boiling brown sugar, caro, butter, baking soda, and vanilla. It's cooked for about 5 minutes, then poured over the popped corn. Now, I use an enamel canner with a lid to shake the coated popcorn to cover it evenly, and shake it you will. This would be a great recipe to make when you've got a bunch of folks in the house who can help you pop the corn and then shake it to coat it. The coated popcorn is then baked on low heat for about 15 to 20 minutes to harden the coating, and it is yummy. So those are a few of my favorite recipes. And Carolyn, Happy New Year to you.
Yes, and Happy New Year to you.
It looks like you've got some wonderful recipes to share.
I do. So I will get right at it. My first one is in my slow cooker, good old slow cooker. Excuse me just a second here. This is a glazed vegetable medley, and it is made up of carrots and parsnips and turnip. And I'll grab my plate here. You mix all of those vegetables together. You cook them just a little bit, and then you put them into the slow cooker. You add some sugar and some butter, and you just let it sit there and cook while you're doing everything else, which was precisely what I did while I was making the recipes for today. Now, my next one is definitely a family favorite. This was one that was given to me by my Aunt Margaret years ago, and we just call it chicken broccoli bake. You start out with some cooked broccoli on the bottom, and then you add a layer of chicken or turkey that's also cooked, and you have a sauce made of cream of chicken soup, some mayonnaise, some lemon juice, and then cheddar cheese. You mix that all together, pour it over the top, put some sort of crunchy topping on it. I like to use all brand cereal, but you could use potato chips or cornflakes or whatever, and you have got a really, really good casserole. You can freeze it and reheat it. It's great. My next one is another family favorite, and I just call it an any day salad, and that's this one right here. You can be as creative as you want. I've made this with mandarin oranges and orange Jell-O. You just dissolve your Jell-O in the boiling water, add a pint of ice cream, and when it starts to just thicken, don't let it get set, just thicken, you add the fruit, you whip it up and add the fruit into it, and you've got a really nice, it can be either a salad or a dessert. You can make it with any fruit, any flavors. I'm going to do one for holiday time sometime that's made with red and green Jell-O and red and green cherries in it. So you can do whatever you like. The next one I have is these right here are orange rolls, and I mixed the dough in my bread maker, so I didn't have to be bothering with that all the time. But then you cut them, you make a circle, you sprinkle on some cinnamon and orange rind, and this is a very, very tender roll, and you roll them up like a croissant, and you've got a really nice one to add to your meal. So we've got a real good meal going right here. My viewer recipe is from Mary Burns of Rutland, and I have it right down here, and I've already cut a slice. She calls this an apple pound cake, and it's almost like a coffee cake too, because you cut your apples up, you mix them with some cinnamon and sugar, and then you put a layer of the dough, and then a layer of apples, and then another layer of dough and another layer of apples. Cook that in the oven, and you've got a really, really nice either dessert or coffee cake for a meal. Now finally, I have one that a friend of mine gave to me, and I'm not going to go into all the making of it, but it's very, very easy because it's made with cookies and whipped cream, unsweetened whipped cream. It's the chocolate wafers, and I'm going to just kind of hold that like this, and you pile them up with whipped cream and lay them on their side, and they just kind of melt into a cake-like filling. And she said this is great for a child's first birthday because you can just set the cake in front of them and turn them loose without even using silverware. So you can decorate it any way you want. You can put, I've put nuts and cherries onto it. You could put any kind of fruit or anything that just kind of caught your eye. So it's very easy.
Children's, I would go for that any day.
Hey, listen, I've got whipped cream on my fingers.
Well, Happy New Year to you and Howard.
Yes, and Happy New Year to you also.
Thank you very much. Well, we want to thank all you viewers for your cards and holiday wishes, and they're most appreciated. I know it's a busy time of year for you to do that. And it was especially nice to hear from Joan Cummings of Fairhaven, and she won the cookbook from our drawing last month, and she says she's 76 years old, and this is the first thing that she's ever won, so we're very happy about that. And also thanks to all of you who let us know how much you enjoyed our shows from Europe earlier in, last month. And you may remember the Bush family. They were from Unkhausen, Holland, and I have a photo to show you. That's Yolanda there on the right with her husband Feta and her children Paige and Frederick. And you remember that Yolanda told us how to make Dutch sand cookies, and I told you that we would make them here in the kitchen. And here they are, these nice little cookies, and they're quite easy to make, but they do take a little time because you have to chill the dough in the refrigerator before rolling it out. And you can make them in any shape you want. You can see I have some round ones here and some in the shape of the heart, because next month is Valentine's Day, and I thought you might want to fill some of these with raspberries or strawberry jam and give a plateful to some of your favorite people. They would really appreciate it. Now, you regular viewers know how much I enjoy recipes made with cornbread, and here's a favorite of mine. It has 7 ingredients, and it's easy to make because it's done in layers, and you get the prepackaged cornbread mix. So what you do is mix it up and put some onions in it and then bake it, and then you make it in a casserole in layers, and you put some of the cornmeal on the bottom, and over that a mixture of chicken, canned soups, broth, and some sliced hard-boiled eggs. And I'm going to serve it up here with some fresh green salad, and you have a delicious one-dish meal that I think you'll enjoy, especially if you're a fan of cornbread like me. And here it is. I hope you'll give it a try. Now, you can't beat a good stew on these cold winter days, and here's something a little bit different. It's my vegetable ham stew. It's easy to make because you put all the ingredients in the soup kettle, and let me dish them out while I tell you a little about it. So in that soup kettle goes your ham, diced tomatoes, cabbage, carrots, peppers, and a nice variety of spices, so you know it's going to be good for you. And just before serving, you want to put in your cornstarch to thicken it up, and it's a very nice alternative to the traditional beef stew. Now, I had to do one of my crock pot recipes for you because I'm a big fan of crock pots like Carolyn is, and this is something a little bit different, and it's a barbecued pork. It's a mustard barbecued pork, and the recipe comes from South Carolina, where they use honey and mustard and brown sugar to flavor this pork. Now, you can serve it over whatever you want, some mashed potato, some rice, but I have some hamburger rolls here, and we're going to serve it over those rolls, and you can see how good this is. And for you people who like barbecue, I think you're going to love this. It's something a little bit different, very tasty, and something that I enjoy very much. And for you people cooking for 1 or 2, you're going to be happy to know that this can be in the freezer for up to 3 months. Now, moving on to desserts, my viewer recipe is from Mary Nissoff of Peru, New York, and she says this has been in her family for up to 40 years. It's her little fruity oatmeal cookies that you see here, and they're made with your oatmeal, of course, and there's raisins and apples in here, so they keep very moist, and she says these also freeze very well, and with a glass of milk you're going to be in for a real treat. And my last one is a recipe from down south, and I have to quick tell you, Judy, it's this lemon icebox pie, and I have a picture of people that I got this recipe from. They're my friends Carol and Jane Sutton from Nashville, and they take me to the Loveless Cafe, and we always have this delicious lemon icebox pie.
Nice, looks great.
It is great.
All right, well, as always, we have a couple of different ways that you can get these recipes that we've featured this afternoon. You can go to the Across the Fence website, go to uvm.edu/extension, and click on the link to Across the Fence. You'll find the recipes on the left-hand side of the web page. You can also get the recipes by mail. Send $2 in a stamped, self-addressed business-size envelope to 2014 Recipes, Box 188, South Hero, Vermont, and the zip code is 05486. A reminder that if you do pay by check, please make it payable to Lynn Jarvis. Again, the address is Box 188 in South Hero, 05486. We'll have that on the screen for just a moment. While I mention that, our next In the Kitchen with Across the Fence segment comes your way on February 6th. It is our theme will be slow cooker and crock pot recipes. Excellent. Perfect for the winter months. As always, we close out today's show. A sincere thanks to all of you loyal viewers for joining us each day, and our best wishes for a happy and healthy new year. Goodbye.
For a video copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-ATF-3430. Across the Fence is brought to you as a public service by University of Vermont Extension and WCAX-TV.